Hello everybody, my name is Adam, and this is a show where I'm going to teach you how to play Pathfinder. If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that you've heard about Pathfinder in some way, but I'm not going to assume that you know anything about it yet. So, let's begin with the very basics. What is this game called Pathfinder? Well, it's a fantasy role-playing game. Okay. What's a fantasy role-playing game? We could divide that up into each of the individual words to get an idea of what that all means. So the first word we have in that is fantasy. What fantasy is like sword and sorcery is what it's called when it's used, referred to like novels and things. It's basically like medieval Europe sort of style, except with other sort of cultures involved as well. And there's also magic that's used in a bunch of different ways, and a lot of people like this genre. The next word we have in that is role-playing. You've heard of role-playing in other games, but in this one it means more specifically acting. Like you make a character and you act as that character. And the third word is game. It's a game because there's still a bunch of numbers used in it to describe what your character can do more easily, what they're good at, what their talents are, and how it all ties in with their background and things. Now, if we take it as being role-playing on one side and being a game on the other side, you kind of notice overall, once you've played this game a lot, that there's two basic sides to this game. There's a really numbersy part of it, lots of math involved, and there's also another part which more people tend to enjoy since a lot of other games don't have it, is the role-playing part, the acting part. Making a character and making a backstory for that character and giving that character motivations and flaws and all of those sorts of things. And people really enjoy that, and I would have to say that that's my most favorite part. It was a little bit of a tongue twister, but I got past it with strength. So actually I could show you the difference between the more mathy part of it and the more role-playing acty part of it. This is what's called a character sheet. This describes all of your character's abilities and powers and skills, I guess you could say, as well as some other information as well. Well, this character's name is Ragengar. He is, if I look at his sheet, he is a dwarf, and he can both do magic and wield a sword, and those sorts of things. But going beyond that, I've played him quite a bit, so I also really know that he talks like this, and all he wants to know is why everybody betrays him. And he also kind of wants to know why the universe works the way that it does, and why magic works the way that it does, and he's so curious about everything, it sometimes leads to his death. This has happened before. He's died once before, and twice. He's died twice. But he's been resurrected from the dead. I'm moving on. Usually when you're playing this game, you need at least two people. One person to be the game master, the person who makes the story and runs the world and makes the players' visions a reality. And then you have the players themselves. I'm using 2 fingers, but it could be up to 7 or an infinite number of fingers. That got weird. Anyway, you usually have one game master who's running the game, and a few players who are putting themselves into the roles of these specific characters to explore what they think and what they want to do and really drive the plot along. And you, the players, and you, the game master, are working together to make a beautiful story that everybody will enjoy. So we've been kind of talking about this already, but There's a difference between you as a player and you as a character. So, on one side you have me, Adam Sexton, likes to make YouTube videos, and on the other side you have Regengar, a dwarf who likes magic and swinging swords and being in charge of things. So, you have these two different perspectives, and one very generally considered bad thing to do is to do this thing where you take your player knowledge, your you as a person knowledge, and you give it to your character. So as a person, I might know that goblins are not very fond of horses. And I take that knowledge and I give it to Regengar. Regengar might not know that goblins are afraid of horses. So if I'm giving that to him, that gives him an unfair advantage, and he normally wouldn't know that goblins are afraid of horses. So that's generally considered really unfair, and one of the few rules you should never break. There's a bunch of different ways you can play this game. You can either play it in just one straight amount of time for just like maybe a few hours, and then just have that be that. That's usually called a one-shot, by the way. You just make your characters at the beginning, play through it for a few hours, and then you're done. But what's more common and what people find more satisfying overall, because it usually means a lot more character growth and development and all those things people really like in a story, is you have these sessions, these 4-hour sessions. I like to do 4 hours, personally. You have these 4-hour sessions, and you do them, say, every week. And you continue the story almost like you're watching a TV show. Except you're the people who are running the characters, and the Game Master is the person writing the script. And along with this character development, your character is going to grow in a more mechanical sense as well. He's going to gain, he or she, is going to gain more abilities, get more powerful, get mentally stronger, physically stronger. They're going to get more items. They're going to learn more about the world. They're just going to become enhanced. And at these certain milestones where these things enhance, these characters enhance, it's called leveling up. You've probably heard the term before. One of the most important and intriguing parts about this game, in my opinion, is that you can make your character try to do anything. You might get asked to roll for something, but you can try anything. You can try to jump on the chandelier and swing from one side of the room to the other. Or you can try to jump off a cliff, pull out your sword, and strike the giant bird that's going to try and kill your party. You can do pretty much anything that would be reasonable for your character to do. And if your game master's a good game master, he's going to work with you to figure out all the numbers for why that should happen. I'm going to have this entire series on a playlist. Down in the description below, I will provide the link for that playlist. And if you just want to watch one video at a time, that's fine. But I'm going to introduce you to all of this game. And by the end of the series, you should know way more about this game. Okay, I will see you all in the next video, which might be playing now.